Hey guys, welcome back to the X-Ring. On today's episode, what I'd like to review is a product by Nightforce Optics. I've had this for a while. This is the Nightforce Professional Grade Tripod, is what they call it. I've had this for a while. I've used it quite extensively, and I am thoroughly impressed with it. Now, when I was looking for a tripod, and I like my tripods, I wanted something that was under 5 pounds, and so this comes in at an advertised weight of 3 pounds, 6 ounces, I believe. Maybe it's 3 pounds, 3.6 pounds, but price point on this thing, it's more expensive than, let's say, getting, an inexpensive sun pack or something like that, but price point somewhere around $380. I was able to get this one a little cheaper, so I know that they're out there for a good price, but it is structural carbon fiber. This is the same company that makes Nightforce Optics. I'm a big proponent of their scopes, and so I wanted to try this out. I have shot off of this in the standing position, seated and prone position, and it works as advertised. There are a few faults with it, and I'll cover those in just a minute. But let's talk about the overall package here. Okay, so you've got the tripod that packs like this, and as you move this down, you're going to hear those positive clicks. And so that would lock it out into this position like this. So you've got the stand, you have a collar here that you can slide this down or up as needed. They advertise this as a panning or a fluid head, and it does feel like it. So you've got a hip socket here, you have rotational here. It's very, very smooth when you rotate it. And you do also have your quick release here, or quicker release. So this comes off like this with the plates. Now initially when these came out, they were extremely difficult to get. I don't know if that's changed or if it's a little easier now, but I know that these were like unobtainium. They were hard to find. I did call Nightforce directly, and about a month ago they sent me, I had to purchase them, but they did send me about 3 or 4 of these because if I wanted to use something like a spotting scope, and I've got this attached to my spotting scope, but then I wanted to, let's say, switch it over to the hog saddle, which I reviewed before. I could do that and then use the hog saddle in conjunction with this, just like this. So very, very versatile, especially with the cant and everything else. You'll see that, Nightforce has got their logo here. But guys, it's not just a standard tripod, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. This has the ability to not only shoot from the standing position, but you can also lower this by, of course, using these. But now we can go and take this and even go to a prone position by doing this, bringing this up, going to that low position like this, and then what you can do is on the base right here, you'll see this joint. And what you can do is rotate this. Now this is one of my complaints. They did not use a good enough adhesive to adhere the carbon fiber to the actual joint itself. Now that time I was able to turn it. And what I can do now is take this off, and if I wanted to shoot this in the prone position, now I can unscrew the top portion like that, and then apparently you can shoot from this in the prone position just like this. It does work great. I've already done it, so no apparently to it. I know it works. But the problem I have is a lot of times this, when I use a lot of torque, if I tighten it down too much, this will actually separate, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Additionally, I had to Loctite. I used red Loctite to get all of these silver screws here on the hinges. They were a little loose and the legs were flopping around, so I'd tighten them up and they'd loosen up, and I'd tighten them up and loosen up. So I did have to Loctite these. They work great now, but this is the problem that I had with it. If you take this, and let's say this joint is here, and I tighten it down, I'm going to put a lot of torque on this. So if I tighten this down, it just rotated. And what I'm talking about is that adhesive right there. It just came off, okay? It's not a problem. It still works. It's only when you're trying to unscrew it or tighten it that you'll notice that thing moves. So I do need to go in there with some epoxy or something like that. But guys, something else you're going to notice is you're going to notice that on these 3 legs, 2 of them are red. So if you do any type of backpacking or trekking or hiking or anything like that, you'll know how trekking poles make you a lot more efficient, especially when you're carrying a load. Well, the red ones designate trekking poles. So you can unscrew these. Now, their website claims that these are only 9 ounces in this configuration, and I believe it because they're extremely light. So now I can make a trekking pole out of this. And you say, well, there's no wrist tether and that looks unfinished. Well, believe it or not, they provide those for you. Looks just like this. It's a machined aluminum cap, and that screws on. So now you have wrist tethers just like this. And so, you know, I can extend this even higher. And the maximum height on this in a tripod length, I believe in the tripod it'll reach 64 inches. But this is plenty enough for me because, you know, I'm 6 foot tall or 5'11", close enough, and that's plenty good enough. But you can also use this as a monopod. So if you have that top portion or the fluid head portion and you wanted to go extreme lightweight, you can put this on here. So if you're a photographer, let's forget shooting. Let's talk about if you're a photographer or something like that and you're really trying to keep it lightweight, you can use this and put your camera on it, whatever, and you have more stability here as a monopod than just trying to hold it. So very, very versatile piece of equipment. And they also give you something else in the bag. I've never even used this. I believe it was on it when I purchased it. But they give you a screw handle so that if you wanted more control over this fluid head, you could do that. Now, it's threaded on both sides here, so you could actually put that in there like so. Oh, there it is. But I don't use a handle, so I'm going to take it off. But very, very good piece of equipment. Like I said, check them out if you're looking for a good tripod. Price point's a little higher, but you know, I firmly believe in you get what you pay for. So hopefully you've enjoyed this review of the Nightforce Optics tripod. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.